I am here to talk to you today about a topic that doesn't get talked about, and it's real estate holding costs. What are real estate holding costs? Well, real estate holding costs are any cost that you incur after you've determined that the home or the property you're in is no longer where you need to be. Anytime you're holding this property, now any money you spend on that is money that ought to be spent on your new property, and we call those holding costs. I'm going to break this down for you here in a minute, but I want to tell you a story about where this really applied. An older couple, and they had had their house listed for about a year. They had started at a higher price, and then they had dropped it, and they was down about $50,000. What had happened is they had found that the home that they were in was a multi-level. However, they were older, and climbing those stairs wasn't working for them. And they run across the perfect house that was right by their daughter, and they bought it. The whole point was just to buy that house, so they had everything they needed for that age in life, and it was all on one level. And then they were just going to quickly sell the house they were in, and they'd be good to go, right? They were very proud of the house they were in, and they got a little exuberant and overpriced the house. After a year, they had dropped their price pretty close to $50,000 or $60,000, $70,000, which even causes further concern with buyers because then they wonder what's wrong. In this particular case, it was starting to get pretty critical to them to get this house sold. We talked about what we needed to do, and they said, well, we can't do any less than this right here. And I said, okay, what are your holding costs? And they said, well, what's holding costs? Well, let's figure them out. So we took these things, taxes and mortgage and all this stuff. In their case, they were paying 2 mortgages. There was a lot of expenses there. Actually, a little over $5,000 a month is what their holding costs were. You take that times 12, that's $60,000 that they had spent in a year that they aren't getting back. When I did the math for them and showed them actually how much it had cost them to hold that house for a year, it was really an eye-opener. They were way further in the hole than they had expected, and it was just one of those things that it goes under the radar and we don't think about it. I don't want that to happen to you. What I wanted to just quickly look at here is I just wanted to break down a $250,000 house in this area and what you can be looking at as possible holding costs for a house like that. So what I took was taxes at $357 a month. The mortgage, principal and interest, mortgage insurance, I think it was at 5%, $1,157 a month. PMI, $108 a month. You have your hazard insurance, hail and fire and that type of thing, $213 a month. Utilities, probably around $200 a month. Maintenance for $250,000 house, $250 a month. Lawn care, $150 a month if you're bagging your grass and doing it right and keeping the house looking really sharp for the showings. I didn't figure in a second mortgage payment or rent at a different location, but I did figure in cost of money. That's one that's completely obscure, but it is a real cost. So if you're looking at, in this case, $2,435 a month, 4% of that is what it costs you not to be able to use that money. So if you lose that money and you don't have it into your account somewhere, the loss of that money will cost you $94 a month annually. If that's all you lose, that's just $94 on 1 month's holding cost. You add that all together, you come up with $2,529 a month on a $250,000 house. So if you put the house on the market and sell it that day and close it in 30 days, you're going to have all of your cost plus this hidden one that nobody talks about, which is what it costs you to hold that house for the 30 days to get to closing. If you hold it 30 days, take a contract, another 30 days to closing, you have $2,529 times 2. So you can see how quickly that adds up. It is a hidden profit killer. It's something that we don't just normally sit down and do the math on, but I can tell you, if you do, you'll have your eyes open because it can add up in a hurry, especially if you have a spouse out of state working, flying back and forth. All of those things are additional costs that you're just not factoring in, and you really ought to. When you go to market your home, be sure and look for the correct price. They can always offer more, or we can always take less, because you may be taking a lot less if in fact it costs you to hold that house longer than you should. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this keeps you from losing money on your next real estate deal. And as always, I want you to have a very blessed day.